Pete James, our number 5 story of 2010. Really, Pete James could be a top story every single year, but retiring from the radio booth at the end of the year, doing a fantastic job doing color analysis work for the London Knights. He's over at the local radio station. He's just an absolute London sports legend.
And you know what? I mean, Pete really paved the way for all of us. I mean, he's been doing London sports for, decades. What was it, 30, 40 years now?
50 plus.
Yeah, 50 plus years total. And they call him the Godfather for a reason, and we have nothing but respect for him.
Oh, you can only hope that we're 50 years from now, we're still employed somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, we look back on his career with reverence, because he's just accomplished it all. And I love the fact that he's been able to do some television, some radio, some writing. It's sort of all encompassing. And I think any broadcaster right now should really look to that as sort of the career of wax to follow, because he just does it all. It's not narrow-minded. It's not just down one path. He's exploring several paths, and he certainly has led the way. The Mustangs winning the Yates Cup under the guidance or behind number 7, if you will, Donnie Marshall, getting it done after losing the heartbreaker to Queens. The number 4 story on the countdown, do you think they're placed in there properly? Should they have come a little earlier in the countdown, or do you think we should be waiting to talk about them?
No, I think, going into the season, there were so many questions with the Stangs, and then the way they answered those questions, and Donnie Marshall especially, it was an incredible season. They didn't get as far as they wanted to go, but, I mean, it was something to build on.
I remember from preseason training camp, his dad said, "Don't worry, we'll be fine with Donnie Marshall at the helm." But there was still a lot of people questioning whether that was really true. But the supporting cast was fantastic, and he was great. I think did just enough to lead his team to victory every week.
When he's conservative, and it's weird to describe him this way because he runs all over the field and he makes things happen for his mates. But when he is conservative, doesn't try to do too much out there in terms of throwing the ball deep, that is when I believe he is at his best. What plagued him in 2010 is the pickoff. He threw a lot of pickoffs, and he's going to have to cut that down for 2011 if this team plans on winning another Yates Cup. And we have to think now, guys, the benchmark isn't Ontario. The benchmark isn't the regional game. The benchmark has to be a Vanier Cup. Western hasn't won one in a long time, and Greg Marshall has never won one as a head coach. And that is what this team has to focus on, winning a national title or bust. And I know they don't like to hear that kind of thing, but they've done everything else, but they haven't won that national crown.
Greg Marshall gets to the Yates Cup game every year, so there's no reason for him not to believe they're going to be there again. He has to, like I said, move on and be able to win that national semifinal that has plagued him over the past few years. As far as Donnie Marshall, he just has to be the type of quarterback not to lose you a game. He doesn't have to win a game, he just has to be the guy not to lose it.
The number 3 story on the countdown off to the races, Kyle Busch coming to Delaware in the summer and winning. I mean, you have to give the guy credit. He hops into a car he's not too familiar with, but he uses his raw talent and his innate ability just to understand a track quickly, concisely, and readily. And he wins the first ever summer showdown at Delaware, number 3 story of the year.
Can I just say that was the hottest day I've ever gone through.
Because of your presence there. You and Kyle Busch.
Degrees that day.
That was insane heat down there. Yeah, it was crazy. But no, Busch was amazing to watch.
And DJ Kennington finishing in second place. So I think it was perfect. You bring the guy in, the big star, he wins, but the local driver finishes runner-up, nicely placed.
Kennington actually led the first 33 laps of that 50-lap race, which was great for the fans. They were cheering him on, but I think everyone just had a feeling that Busch was going to come back. And this was one of the few places Kyle Busch went where everyone loved him. They didn't hate him.